I love myself. These are the 10 tips that I'm going to share with you that over the 20 years of my work experience and working in different companies, and for the last years being an entrepreneur and running it in my business, I want to share with you my top 10 tips that will help you learn to love yourself. See, one of the things that we want to do is we want to learn how to love ourselves. We tell our kids, our partners, other important, significant people in our life, forbid, even sometimes people at work, that we really love what we do and we really love the people around us. But very rarely do we tell ourselves that we love ourselves. So these tips, I hope, will serve you and that you will learn to work on aspects of yourself that perhaps you haven't done so and get lots and lots of ripple effects as a result of it. So the first tip, and I'll share parts of myself as I go through with that too, the stories and areas that have really helped me, and hopefully they will help you too. So the first tip that I want to share with you is really about how to planning and paying yourself a compliment. Now, why do we want to pay ourselves a compliment? The reason is we want to recognize some of the things that we do well. So a lot of the women that I come across and the work that I've done with women across the years, we tend to look at ourselves at things that you've stuffed up, things that you haven't done right. But when do you actually stop and pay yourself a compliment? When do you look at the things that you've done right? In organizations, one of the things that we say to people is, if you want to really improve the self-esteem and the morale of your team, catch people doing something right. You've probably heard that. And so we want to catch people doing something right. Why? Because it builds up their self-esteem, because it builds up their morale. There's ratios, like I know that's put out by places like the Covey Institute. I've heard this number a lot of times. There's a ratio of 4-to-1. If you say 4 positive things to people, then you can counteract it by something constructive or negative. You know, you want to build people up, but we don't stop and build ourselves up. We never stop and say, here are the things I didn't do very well, but by the way, look at these amazing, amazing things that I did really well. So the first thing you want to start doing every day is, before you go to bed at night, start looking at the 3 things that you've done well. Now, they might be the smallest things. It might be the way that you spoke to your child. It may be the way that you handled a meeting. It may be the way that you've handled a telephone call. Tiny, slight, small things, which you might even go, well, that's just part of who I am, or that's just part of my job. Well, it doesn't matter. I just want you to stop for about 30 seconds to a minute every day, every night, and acknowledge yourself for doing that. In fact, it's a great practice to do that with our family members and our partners as well, but we're not talking about them in this video. We're not talking about them in this audio. We are just going to focus on ourselves, because when we get ourselves right, we can help the people in our lives, our work, and really in an ultra way, the community and the world in so many different ways. So I know that when I started doing that, when I started acknowledging myself, it was really, really hard. I was so much more of a critic. And sometimes that critic within us just starts to look at the things that we don't do well.